So in the past year, I've seen a whole new flourishing of affinity spaces, essentially, for people of color, Black people, folks who have been traditionally left out of even the underground space. And so what I think our proposed legislation really speaks to is not only decriminalizing the possession, but also the non-commercial exchange, like social sharing, cultivating, sustainably cultivating and sustainably collecting psychedelics for personal use, and also in group use, or in the context of ceremony. I think that these pieces are really, really important aspects of what we're proposing, because it's going to ensure the most equitable path for people to access psychedelics going into the future. And I think both having, regulation and a medical path is extremely necessary. And I think also having a path for responsible adults to engage with psychedelics is also necessary, especially for the equity piece. This is going to be like the most accessible way financially as well for many people to access these experiences. And so that's like the part that I was speaking to earlier that really drives why I'm here, and the educational work that I'd like to continue to do into the future. And I don't know if Monique, you wanted to touch on that at all, because we do this work together, particularly.
Yeah, that's kind of like what brought me to this, and my personal experience. Because when I look out into ceremonies, there's not a lot of people of color, and I know viscerally the effects that it has made on my life and how it's trickled out down to my children. And it's really important to have spaces for people of color that is led by people of color. And then and then another reason why I wanted to be a part of DNS is to assure that that this issue is brought forward and that it doesn't get lost. Because a lot of times, especially with the legalization of marijuana, a lot of marginalized communities and people of color have suffered under the prohibition model, the war on drugs. And then once it's legalized, they can't benefit in the profit of the legalization of marijuana, which could greatly benefit our communities, which have been decimated by families that have been harmed because of the war on drugs. So with this new renaissance that we're in, with legalizing and the road to legalizing psychedelics, I wanted to ensure that people of color have a voice and that have safe access, equitable access to this medicine if they so choose to. Yeah. And then there's research too. A lot of the research that are going into psychedelics are mostly, focused on white body people. And when you're dealing within psychedelic spaces, you have to take in consideration people's culture and lived experience too, which is very important. And I'm hoping that would change. And that's, another reason why I'm, developing along with Sunil and other members in our community, creating safe spaces for people of color to participate in this, because that's another thing that's keeping, other than, financially being able to participate in the ceremonies, is just like creating safe spaces for people too. So hopefully that answers your question.